Was a girl running in our group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford Coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look out, buddy, hot rod and large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod.
Now, his buddy Elon, that's Chuck's buddy, I have to tell you, he made the news again this week, and he never seems to make the news in a good way. Sorry, so sorry, Chuck. But Tesla has been ordered to pay over a lawsuit at one of their plants. Tesla Inc. lost a case against a black former elevator operator and must pay an unprecedented $137 million in damages for having turned a blind eye to racial taunts and offensive graffiti and the man endured at the electric vehicle maker's plant in Fremont, California. Apparently, it's not a good place to work if you were African American. Owen Diaz, a former contract worker who was hired in 2016 via a staffing agency, was subjected to racially hostile work environment. A federal jury in San Francisco decided on Monday. The award is among the most significant verdicts of its kind. Yeah, well, $137 million for that? A lot. I believe that's the largest verdict in an individual race discrimination in employment case, said David Oppenheimer, a clinical professor of law at Berkeley Law. Well, Berkeley. Class actions are, of course, in a different category. Yeah, they weren't in the same category as this one. Now, Diaz's case marks a rare instance in which Tesla, which typically uses mandatory arbitration to resolve employee disputes, had to defend itself in a public trial. Oh, in other words, Elon does his dirty laundry in-house. The company almost never loses workplace arbitrations. No, though it was hit with a $1 million award in May in a case brought by another ex-contract worker that was similar to Diaz's. I remember that case. That was a Hispanic guy. And they worked him to death, or tried to. And it's just, Elon, you got to be nice to your people. No wonder he doesn't want to be union. Oh my God. Not only is he non-union, he's non-worker friendly. But people that got to have jobs, they're working for what he's paying, and they're putting up with the hours, and they're putting up with the abuse. You know, I mean, trust me, I know what it is to be discriminated against. I've been overweight all my life. You say that's not black or brown, but it's not. But I'm still the fat guy on the block. Anyway, I don't work for Elon, so it doesn't matter. Now, we've been talking about this. This is a problem, and this is an editorial in Automotive News this week. And this is called the Help Wanted section. It's a 3-part editorial. The auto industry has been talking about reshoring in recent years as if it were a kind of patriotic movement, pulling manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. from China, Indonesia, and Mexico as a way to bolster the American economy. Rock on. I'm with that. Gary Kraft wishes it were that simple. Who's Gary Kraft? We'll find out. We just transferred a lot of business from Mexico to our plant in Gadsden, Alabama, because the company there couldn't get enough people to do the work, said Kraft, director of sales, at Kohler Kraft South. We were having problems in getting employees, and once their product got to the border, the trucks were sitting there for 5 to 7 days because of staffing issues at the border. This must be some kind of a product that they're building for the automotive industry. Cross-border shipments have been a vexing issue for suppliers such as Kohler Kraft since long before COVID-19 pandemic arrived in early 2020. So they've had their moments already. It's just being able to get truck drivers, said Kraft, whose name is coincidental with his employers. There are times we've had to call our customers and say, we will not be able to get a truck out today because we cannot get a truck driver. We will get a truck driver tomorrow. Give me a break. I did see, I'll tell you a story in a minute. Staffing and logistics challenges also raise quality flags in a supply chain. Absolutely they do. When you don't have enough people to build your product and you got to hire new people and their training is bing, bing, bing instead of over a period of time like an apprenticeship, yes, it's going to raise quality flags. You doggone right it is. We've had some quality problems with companies that never had them before, he said. And it's because they've lost some of their experienced talent. Amen. Now employees come in who have to learn the product from the ground up. I'm going to tell you, there are no people to work. People are not working. The U.S. It's a long story, and I'm not going to. That's a story for another day. But I got to tell you the story of sending my young man over. Why don't you skip over to Burger King? Grab me a pop for lunch. Give me a pop. I just want a soda. He went over there and he came back and said, "Can't get you one, boss. They're closed." I said, "What do you mean Burger King's closed? No help." So Burger King, less than 10 blocks from me, has no help to run their store. And they had to close. Okay? I've seen different fast food organizations, McDonald's and Wendy's and all the rest of them, that had signs out, Taco Bell, starting pay. It went from 14 to 15 to 16 to $17 an hour, trying to get people to come and work, and there's nobody wants to jump out of the basement. I'm concerned about this as I am about the lack of people in the trades. And that was a discussion we had with Chuck last week, and we're going to have it again soon with Leon Simon, my buddy from Lowell High School, the tech man there. He sponsors the tech center. He's quite a guy, and he really is educating people. And most of the kids that get out of his school, 4-year program or whatever at the high school, they go on to a trade school or they go right to work for someone because they're already good at what they do. It's an outstanding thing. But try and find them. That's one school. We need all the schools to be doing this. It's insane for this guy to call his or call one of his suppliers and say, "Hey, sorry, I can't bring you the parts today because we don't have a truck driver." Come on. A monkey canal. Anyway, the Faulkner's Group. Now, this is an automotive group, a big automotive group, and they have a program you should hear about. The John Comer and Greg Long of the Faulkner Automotive Group's fixed operations directors are on the front lines of recruiting technicians in Philadelphia's brutally competitive market. Hell, it's brutally competitive here in Chicago. Each of Faulkner's 28 dealerships need at least one tech. So Faulkner's got 28 dealers. That's a big dealership group. It's not easy or inexpensive for them to find and hire techs. According to consulting from Dealer Strong of Evansville, Indiana, franchise new car dealers spend as much as $10,000 to recruit new technicians, a figure that covers the hiring process from writing the job description through onboarding. Oh my God. So the last thing Comer and Long want to see is the new tech to fail, the new guy they hire. To help ensure that doesn't happen, Comer and Long, working with the group's service managers and master technicians, relaunched Faulkner's Technician Mentor Program in 2019. Newly hired technicians, most of whom are just out of school, were paired with master technicians for their first 9 months. These new techs are eased into their jobs in a cadence designed to build confidence, produce high-quality work, and immerse them in Faulkner's culture. I thought that was pretty cool. You take a young man and put him with my shop, of course, is so small that it's like that. Our apprentices, our young people are exposed to the older guys. They have 2 older guys that are pro techs. They're good. And we have master techs. And the other guy, the young kid, he's learning from them. That is a great idea to mentor the new techs that are fresh out of school and make, so that they learn from a master tech. They learn the correct way to do things for that particular dealership. He's got 28 dealers. I'm assuming it's all different kinds. It's not one or another kind of dealer. It's all different kinds. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Never have I been so close to hitting that dump button so many times. Oh
Well,
man.
I'm passionate about this. This is something that's important here.
No, that last name was killing
Oh
me.
yeah, it was. Me too. Yeah, me too. All right, Nissan. Nissan, which reduced its manufacturing headcount as the pandemic disrupted the industry, now needs several hundred more plant employees, the spokesman Brian Brockman said. The headline reads, new Nissan ads are for jobs, not for vehicles. They're not trying to sell vehicles. Of course, they don't have any. The ads don't simply say that jobs are available. They tout the cushier perks of a technician's job at Smyrna. They tell the local community that employees have access to online gym or on-site gym, golfing range, discounted sales on a new vehicle leases, paid college tuition, and raises every 6 months. Hello. Very nice. We see strong demand for production, and we have a need to expand production, Brockman said. Our traditional recruitment methods weren't having the results that we needed or want. To make the ads resonate in a larger way, instead of attempting the campaign in-house, the automaker used its national brand agency, Nissan United. In other words, Nissan needs techs just like everybody else. But instead of advertising their cars for sale, they're advertising their job openings, which just makes more sense. They don't have any cars to sell anyway. They need people in the plant to build them. Let's get going. Let's get them built, and then you can advertise cars for sale. There are people that are even the car manufacturers. If there's any question in your mind, the car manufacturers have a lot of money on hand. They haven't sold. They don't have chips. They can't sell any cars, and yet they're investing big dough. Stellantis. Stellantis is who bought Chrysler and Fiat and a couple of whatever that was. They bought a conglomerate, and they call it Stellantis now, but it's still Chrysler Corporation. Well, part of it's Chrysler. Stellantis is investing $229 million to retool 3 Indiana plants and new flexible 8-speed transmissions that can be used in both the electrified vehicles and those with conventional setups. Oh boy, off to Indiana we go. The Kokomo transmission, the Kokomo casting, and the Indiana transmission plants, all in the city of Kokomo, will be key cogs into the manufacturer's electrification strategy. Wow. Stellantis said in July it is investing more than $35 billion. Oh, I thought that was $3.5 billion, Eric. It's $35 billion through 2025 in electrification and software, and plan to have 4 electric vehicle platforms that support driving ranges of 300 to 500 miles. They must be sure that they're going to get their chips. Stellantis has set a goal of having electrified vehicles account for more than 40% of U.S. sales by 2030. What is with all these guys setting 2030 as a target date? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. But here, Mercedes, of all cars, going to add 300 jobs. Mercedes-Benz will add 300 jobs at its Alabama assembly plant by the end of this year as the luxury automaker gears up to build electric utility vehicles. Hello. The factory in the town of Vance, that's Alabama somewhere, employs 4,400 now and is in production hub for the Mercedes GLS and GLE utility vehicles. Starting next year, it will produce battery-powered versions of those 2 popular vehicles. Hello. Electric vehicle production will be integrated into the Alabama factory's existing body shop, paint shop, and assembly lines. A new battery assembly plant is located on 270 acres nearby. So Mercedes is employing more people than, holy cow, Americans. Mercedes is hiring for the assembly, body, and paint shops, as well as the battery plant, where workers will assemble high-voltage EV battery systems. I don't know if I'd want to work in a place that was dealt in high voltage. I know, high voltage is high voltage. I don't care what anybody says. But it is what it is. But they're building jobs in America for Americans. Hello. Bring them back here. Bring those jobs back here right now. That's all I can say. If we got whatever we got to do, I don't care who it makes mad. I really don't. And if the people in China don't like it, well, that's too bad. Let them look at their government. We need to get all our business back here. We need to be making our own chips, by the way, and our own medicines, by the way, and a few other things I'd like to make, by the way. Anyway, we're going to get into electric vehicles. You know why? Because they're here. I told Eric before the show started. I says, your next car likely to be either a hybrid or a full electric vehicle. Let's face it. That might be all there's out there, and it might be the only thing reasonably priced because they're working feverishly to work on different batteries. First of all, that aren't prone to fire, like lithium ion, Eric. Mm-hmm. And they're working on cadmium batteries and regular batteries, and lithium sodium batteries is the Ultium thing that General Motors has, which makes it less volatile. It's just, I don't understand why in this age, we're in 2022, Eric, you tell me, you're the one with the cell phone that does tricks. I mean, I watched it jump up and down. Let me just say, in this day and age, why we don't have a better battery chemical than lithium. Lithium batteries are just the worst. First of all, you have to cool them in the summer. You have to heat them in the winter. So you got a separate heating and cooling system just for your battery pack. Now, that's got to be an extra expense, no, when you're building the car? That's got to cost more. Why don't we have a battery, a real battery? Not lithium. No lithium. Nickel cadmium, that's what the Priuses use, and you never hear them getting recalled. And we work on a fleet of them, actually, for a group that we work on, like 4 or 5 of them. I've never had an instance where I needed to put either the front battery or the back battery in. I just haven't. The hybrid battery. I haven't had to change anything. Brakes, yeah. Tires, yeah. Steering and stuff, yeah. But alignments, yes. But batteries, yeah. So this nickel cadmium isn't the end of the world. And it's not an explodomatic like lithium is. I'm telling you, lithium is the problem. Well, it is what it is.
I think the novice in me believes that the lithium gives that fully powered, just gives it more power to the vehicles. Like you're making, like I told you before the show started, the Chevy Silverado, right? That's going to be an electric vehicle by next year.
Yeah.
So like I want to say like the lithium gives it more power for it to perform normally like a gas powered truck and everything else that goes along with it.
Like I say though, this is 2022 we're going into.
Right.
And the way to do that is like right now, my car, I never thought I would own a 4-cylinder car. But I have a 4-cylinder and it scoots down the street. Mm-hmm. It flies. As good as my V6s or V8s did. You know why? The transmission and the gears, everything it's set right. It is set in such a way that a little bit of power makes a lot of speed. And it works. I mean, I can't drag race it, but it's got all the power I need to drive it.
I mean, that would be something if you would, though.
I'm just telling you, it's a 4-wheel drive, Edge. If all 4 wheels light up, I don't think so. But yeah, this day and age, we gotta do better. We just gotta.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I gotta get away from this lithium, this thing I have.